Hi, my name is Jake Rockwitz, and this screencast is to help you get help with the Webform module. It's really just to help you. It's a beta module. If you run into bugs or issues or have questions, how to properly diagnose them or understand the problems. I'm starting off with a default installation. There are these dismissible messages that you can use to get video help to just get you more familiar with things. What I'm going to walk through is kind of the debugging process if you run into issues. First step is you might create a form and there's an issue on the form, and I want to emphasize that important step is to look at the source code. You can look at the elements behind the form and see what's going on and see what might be off. This information is incredibly helpful for me. To take it a step further, you can install the Webform Devel module, go into the Export tab. This is a tab just for web forms, and it gives you the configuration. It exports the configuration. The most important thing about this tab is it tidies the elements so they're human readable. If you use Core's configuration management system, all this information would be on one line and very hard to read. This gives me a complete overview of your form. You can export this file. There's even a download. You can download this file locally and upload it to the Webform's issue queue, and I am able to get a full copy of your form working on my machine instantly. I do recommend if you have email addresses or any confidential information, you need to take it out of this YAML file. That's one way to get help with your form. Sometimes it's really helpful to isolate the problem. Instead of submitting a form with 100 fields, you can go and create a test form, and if there's a specific issue with file upload, you create a test form that isolates only that issue and those settings, and then export that form. Another approach is, the common thing with issues is we need the steps to reproduce them. So we're kind of going to walk through that, how you might go about doing that. So let's back up and say there's an issue with file uploads, and I have a really long form. What I've found is to recommend using sometimes templates, because we're all working off this default installation. I think it's very important sometimes to always have a default installation, even if you go to Simple Test Me, just to know that it is a real problem in the form and not specific to your site, maybe caused by a conflict with another module. So this is a plain vanilla site, and let's say I had an issue with file uploads. I could use the job application as an example. I'm going to preview and just show you that it has a file upload field. This is actually a real case scenario was someone had an issue with multi-step forms and file uploads, and they were getting lost. While you were stepping through the form, the file upload data was lost. And the steps to reproduce it using this template was, well, right now this is just using field sets, but if I go in and edit these field sets and I hit change, I can change these to a multi-step wizard. I'm going to go and do this one. I'll do all three. It's really quick. And you could actually document these steps in bullet points in the issue queue, which I'm going to go to in a second, and say, I went in, I duplicated the job application template, I changed all the details to wizard pages, and now I went in, I hit the test tab, and I started submitting the form. And I think the actual issue was someone went like this. They went through the form, they got to this phase where the file is here, they hit next page, and during the preview process, they hit back and they lost the data. But it was such a clear way. It was 7 bullet points using existing information, and it significantly helped me understand the problem. Now, filing these problems, you would have to go to the Webform issue queue, and I'm starting there. This is from the Webform page. I've filtered it by 8.x. It's very important to search for existing issues to make sure it hasn't been reported. We're going to go through, and I'm going to actually click through to create an issue just to kind of illustrate. Read this text. It's incredibly helpful. There's a handbook out there to walk through how to file good issues and what's the best practice, and this might get updated gradually more and more. I actually use Dree Editor, which adds these buttons, which inserts this standard template, which says requires you to, kind of inspires you to enter what's the problem, what's the motivation, how do you propose to resolve it, remaining tasks. You can change these to be like steps to reproduce. It really helps to break down and spend some time with your tickets and define the problem, define the steps to reproduce, and we will go in and work on your issue and figure out the best way to resolve it. The other option, which I'm going to throw out 2 more options that I think are worth it, is Drupal stack. Sorry, I misspelt it, but it'll come up. Drupal answers another way to file tickets or issues, small questions. People are very helpful with it. I tend to look at it regularly. I will respond. And that's about it. I will throw out there, you should not email me issues. Please file them in the issue queue. The number one reason is other people are going to have the same problem, And if you put it into the Webform issue queue, people will learn, they'll read it, they'll get some more information instead of having a private discussion through email, which is very time consuming for me. Thank you. I hope this helps you get help with the Webform module.